Hey guys, Tal here. I'm excited about this video. We're going to talk about API calls, but not in the way of Postman and show each call by call, but something that's very simple and very powerful. So I have a normal scenario where I just run my network discovery job, and I have all those target machines that I identify and appropriate certificates, but you know that in Venafi we got those as a basic application. And technically we need to go one by one and convert those to appropriate application type, so Venafi knows how to provision certificate to a target machine. In the GUI itself, in user interface, there is no any bulk options that we can do. So usually I will spin up Postman, I will do runner and reference from CSV file, just make a reference to each of these objects and make a change. So let me show a different way. If you go to Powershell gallery and we will search for VenafiPS, you will end up on this page. Once you install this model on your PowerShell machine, it can be your workstation or Venafi itself, you will have an access to all those functions that dramatically decrease the complexity of your PowerShell script that you need to do. If you click on that link, it will bring you to Venafi GitHub repository, where you have access to latest version, and also clicking on that link will put you to documentation website, and very thoughtful, all commands described here with arguments and everything that you need to know. I'm going to directly use the same commands. So let's go back to Venafi PowerShell, and I'm going to install this model on my laptop machine. In the documentation you will see how you can store credentials and token so you can reference it later on. In my case, I'm going to store my credential for current session, and then on my second command I will create connection to Venafi server. And you can see I use -server parameter where I describe my Venafi server, my credentials, client ID, and scope for my current session. Next, I'm going to use findTPP object to retrieve back all those devices that I have under that folder. And in my exercise, I don't want to change all devices. I only want to change devices that start with number 1. So I will use -pattern attribute to select subset of devices. Now also all results from the first command I will pipe to findTPP object, and I will looking for those devices that use class basic. So this is what we saw in inventory, that under each device I have application type basic. So right now you can see I have only subset, and instead of device I make a selection on application type. Now let's define variable, and this variable will hold those 5 lines. Next I will go with the loop for each line in this respond, and I will start to change the values. The first line, convert TPP object, will help me to replace basic application to copy application. Next 2 lines I will use to get specific certificate name from this application, because I'm going to use it as an attribute in the website name field. And the last line to change a driver that Venafi uses to provision a certificate to those target machines. So you can see how quick response was. Now if I'm going to refresh my inventory and I'm going to open one by one, you see that everything was already updated. Now this 225, it still shows basic because in our pattern we didn't want to touch this particular server. Now let's go to this application. You can see that I have certificate assigned to this application. I will click on certificate, and really what I need to do right now is to renew it. So I click on renew and let's refresh it. You can see that certificate was renewed. Now it shows a chain to my CA server. It also showed in installation status that provisioning actually happened to a target box. So it happened very quickly. We also can potentially use this last operation of certificate renewal and push as a part of for each loop that we had in our script. So let's real quick navigate to this target machine. If I go to certificates, you can see that I have my certificates renewed just now. If I go to serial number 76D in my certificate, it shows as 76D. I'm very excited about Venafi PowerShell module because it allows me, without deep knowledge of PowerShell, just go through the standard logic and perform operations quicker than normal API calls will do. Thank you for watching and see you on my next video.